This lesson is using the paste into command, which will automatically create a layer. Whenever you paste anything into a Photoshop drawing, it usually automatically creates a layer. In this case, I'm going to show you a convenient way to take advantage of that. I'm going to load a selection I made earlier that I'm calling here west facing surfaces less sync. So we're going to go hit OK and load that. So highlighted are all these surfaces that face to the left. I'm going to select a layer in order for the paste into command to work, because it needs to sense that you have something to paste into. And I want to apply this wood texture to that layer. So at this point I'm not concerned with the scale of it, the overall size or orientation, although I did rotate it so that the grain appears vertically. Control A selects all, edit, copy, loads it into the clipboard. From the edit menu, I select paste special, and I'm going to select paste into, and what that will do is it senses the selection that was highlighted, and it automatically creates this layer. In this case, the layer is called layer 2. I'm going to rename it west facing wood surface. Remember, surfaces. Remember that you can use a selection over multiple layers. So if I wanted to try alternate textures on that west-facing surface, I would simply repeat the paste into command, and it would create another layer, and I would assign it a meaningful name accordingly. So let's you can see the layer mask is automatically created as well. I'm going to select it, right click, and say disable that layer mask, and that reveals the texture. Now the texture is a bit too big in scale right now. Let's go back and click on the drawing or the texture itself, and I'm going to perform some basic Photoshop editing commands, the first of which will be transform scale. I'm going to change the size of this, holding down the shift key and dragging from one of the corners. Create a more intense tight, dense grain. Now obviously, once I scale to this level, the texture isn't large enough to cover all the surfaces in my mask. But I'll show you a way around that. This is sort of like modifying on the fly. Let's enter to perform that modification. Now I can take that, if I'm happy with that, the appearance of that, I can load selection by default. Oops. Let me select because I want to fill a larger area with that. I'm going to define that as my wood grain pattern. And then I'm going, and watch what I do now. I'm just selecting a larger area, and I'm going to perform an edit fill with my pattern that I just created, if I leave the mouse over it, Photoshop is telling me what the name of it is. Hit OK. Right? Not very elegant in terms of it didn't tile very well, but that's not terribly important right now. Edit, deselect. Sorry, select, deselect. And I'm going to turn back on that west facing wood surface layer mask. So you can see that with some work, that texture could actually work scale-wise on those surfaces. I'm going to stop here and continue with other surfaces and different textures.